You rest beneath the vast dome of night. Stars shine softly, their light calm and distant, like lanterns carried across a wide and quiet ocean. In this stillness, the universe feels timeless. Yet, hidden within this serene sky, there is motion. Slow, patient, steady motion. The universe is not still. It is expanding. Everywhere you look, galaxies drift apart. Not because they move through space, but because space itself stretches, carrying them gently outward. Imagine a breath taken by the cosmos, a soft, endless exhale that pushes galaxies farther and farther from one another. You are living in the middle of that breath, floating gently on its invisible tide. This expansion is not something you can feel directly. You cannot sense it on your skin, nor hear it in your ears. And yet, it is as real as your own heartbeat. The night sky itself tells the story if you know how to listen. Long ago, astronomers began noticing something strange in the light of distant galaxies. The light stretched as it traveled, becoming redder, softer, shifted toward longer waves. Like the lowering tone of a song played too slowly, this red shift revealed that the galaxies were moving away. The farther they were, the faster they seemed to recede. It was as though the universe itself was stretching like dough rising, like fabric pulled gently apart. Pause for a moment and imagine yourself on a boat, drifting across a wide, calm lake. All around you, other boats rest upon the surface. At first, it seems they are unmoving, but as you gaze for longer, you realize they are all slowly drifting away from you. You wonder if you are the one moving, but then you notice every boat is moving away from every other boat as well. The lake itself must be stretching, carrying you all apart. This is the quiet expansion of the universe. It is not violent. It is not hurried. It is as calm as a breath, as steady as a tide. You might expect that such expansion would grow weaker over time, that the pull of gravity, binding galaxies and stars together, would slow it down, tugging gently against the outward stretch. And for a time, astronomers thought this must be true. But when they looked deeper, with careful eyes and careful instruments, they discovered something else, something far more mysterious. The expansion was not slowing. It was speeding up. The universe, like a breath that grows deeper and wider, was accelerating. And behind this strange behavior, something unseen must exist, something invisible, yet powerful. It was given a name both simple and haunting. Dark energy. Dark energy is not light, nor matter, nor substance you can touch. It is not wind, nor pressure, nor any familiar force. Instead, it is emptiness itself, alive with a subtle push. It is the invisible breath of space, filling the cosmos with its silent expansion. You close your eyes for a moment and imagine it. The stars drift farther apart, not by choice, but by necessity, carried on a tide they cannot resist. You are part of this motion, too. Every atom in your body, every thought in your mind, is drifting outward on the slow swell of dark energy. You are not separate from the universe's breath. You are within it, always moving, always carried. Breathe in slowly now. Feel the air enter your lungs, stretching gently, expanding within you. Then breathe out. Feel the soft release, the spreading ease of exhalation. In this small rhythm, you mirror the rhythm of the cosmos. You are an echo of the universe's expansion, a quiet reflection of the great exhale of dark energy. The discovery of this expansion changed everything. For centuries, people imagined the universe as fixed, unchanging, a stage upon which the stars acted but never shifting itself. Now, we know the stage itself is alive. The stage itself moves, widens, grows. Space is not a container, but a participant, shaping the story as it unfolds. Imagine again the fabric of the universe as a great woven cloth. Galaxies are beads sewn into the fabric. As the cloth stretches, the beads drift farther apart, though they do not move across the cloth itself. This is how dark energy works, not pushing galaxies like a wind, but pulling the very threads of space wider and wider, and this stretching has been going on for billions of years. Long before you were born, long before Earth existed, long before even the first stars lit their fires. The universe was already expanding, already drifting outward, already breathing its invisible breath. When you gaze into the night sky, you are looking back in time. The light from those stars and galaxies has traveled for millions, even billions of years. What you see is the memory of where they once were, and yet, even as you look at them, they have already moved farther away, carried on the breath of dark energy. The universe you see is not the universe as it is, but the universe as it was always one step behind its quiet expansion. There is a softness in this thought. You do not need to chase the present moment, for it is always moving, always drifting gently ahead. You can rest in what has been, knowing the future unfolds like a slow breath, steady and inevitable. Dark energy makes up most of the universe, nearly 70%. It is everywhere, in every corner of space, in every gap between galaxies, in every silence between stars. And yet, it cannot be seen, it cannot be touched. It reveals itself only through motion, through the acceleration of expansion. It is like a whisper carried on a breeze you cannot feel, yet whose effect you see in the swaying of trees. Close your eyes again and imagine yourself drifting through space. Around you, galaxies shine softly, each one glowing like an island in the sea of night. At first, they appear still, but then, gently, almost imperceptibly, they begin to move away. Slowly at first, then faster, carried outward by something unseen. You are part of it, drifting with them, yet also watching, sensing the vast quiet tide of expansion. You are safe within it. You were small, but you were included. The breath of the universe carries you to dot. As you rest in this awareness, you may wonder, where did this expansion begin? What lies at the source of this invisible breath? The answer, like the mystery itself, is not yet known. Some say it was born in the Big Bang, an echo of that first fiery moment, still unfolding across eternity. Others imagine it as a property of space itself, woven into the very fabric of reality. Whatever it is constant, steady, always present. The quiet expansion continues, whether you watch or not. Galaxies drift apart. Light stretches. Space breathes. And in this rhythm, you find your own stillness. The chapter softens as you rest in this thought. The universe does not hurry. It does not struggle. It simply expands, carried by its own hidden breath. And so, too, can you rest, knowing that you, too, are carried forward, gently, endlessly, within the quiet expansion of space. The night sky seems still to you. Stars gleam in silence, steady in their places, like jewels fixed upon black velvet. But to those who watch carefully, with instruments that can capture the faintest traces of light, a secret is revealed. The stars and galaxies are not motionless. They drift, they retreat, they slide away, almost imperceptibly, across the fabric of space. This discovery began not with movement you could see, but with the music of light itself. Every star, every galaxy sings its song in light. And just as sound carries tone, light carries wavelength, its own pitch, its own rhythm. When that light is stretched by the expansion of space, its pitch lowers, sliding toward the red end of the spectrum. This softening is called redshift. It is the universe's way of whispering its expansion into our instruments, into our eyes, into our understanding. Imagine a train's whistle as it passes by. As it approaches, the sound is higher, brighter. As it moves away, the sound lowers, stretching into deeper tones. The same happens with light. When galaxies move away, their light deepens, stretches, grows redder. This is how astronomers learned that the universe is not still. You picture yourself standing on a quiet shore, watching lanterns float upon a dark sea. At first, they seem steady, but as time passes, you notice they are drifting farther from you. Their glow dimmer, their light stretched by distance. Each lantern is a galaxy, carried away by an ocean you cannot see. The measurements of this faint drift began with patient eyes and careful minds. Astronomers, like Edwin Hubble, nearly a century ago, compared the distances of galaxies to their redshifts. The result was breathtaking. The farther away a galaxy was, the faster it seemed to be moving from us. The universe itself was stretching. This was not motion through space, but of space. Imagine dots painted on a balloon. As the balloon inflates, each dot moves farther from every other, not because the dots themselves move, but because the surface beneath them grows. You are one of those dots, carried by the stretching balloon of space. The tools used to measure this drift are delicate, precise. Telescopes act as ears pressed to the sky, listening for the faint lowering of light's tone. Spectrographs spread starlight into rainbows, revealing tiny shifts invisible to the naked eye. Numbers are gathered, compared, plotted. From the faintest redshifts, a picture emerges, a universe not fixed, but flowing outward in endless expansion. Pause now, and imagine holding a prism to starlight. A rainbow spills across your vision bands, of color arranged in order. Within this rainbow, small lines appear, gaps where atoms have absorbed particular notes of light. These lines are like fingerprints, unique to each element. And when they are shifted, moved, toward red, they reveal motion. They tell you that the galaxy breathing out this light is not where it once was, but drifting farther away. The universe tells its story not in words, but in these subtle marks. The more distant the galaxy, the greater the shift. The farther the lantern, the dimmer its flame. And so, astronomers measure the faint drift, reading the universe like a diary written in stretched light. This measurement is not only precise, but profound. It is the evidence that space itself has history. The expansion has been unfolding for billions of years, long before Earth took shape, long before the stars of our sky were born. Each galaxy is a page in that history, a marker of time written in the slow drift of light. You can feel the patience required to notice such things, to sit beneath the sky, night after night, gathering light that has traveled across eons, to watch the faintest shifts, to trust the whisper of photons. It is an act of listening, of deep attention, of quiet faith in the language of the cosmos. And what the universe tells us is clear. It is expanding. The lanterns are drifting. The tide is moving outward, always outward. Yet there is a softness in this knowledge. Expansion is not violent, not hurried. It is calm, steady, like the rising and falling of your breath. You can rest within it. You do not need to chase the galaxies as they retreat. They are part of a rhythm far larger than you, far slower than any single lifetime. Consider this, the nearest large galaxy to us, Andromeda, is over 2 million light-years away. Even moving at unimaginable speeds, its light takes millions of years to reach your eyes. And as it travels, space itself stretches, pulling the light gently, lengthening its wavelength, reddening its glow. By the time it reaches you, it is both messenger and memory, carrying within it the evidence of the universe's expansion. You close your eyes and picture yourself drifting through this expanding ocean. You are weightless, surrounded by glowing lanterns of galaxies. Slowly, softly, they recede, not rushing, not fleeing, but gliding outward, like breath released into night air. You are not outside this movement. You are within it, part of it, carried along with every other particle, every other star. Astronomers measure this drift, not to chase it, but to understand it, to sense the shape of time, the pace of expansion, the story of what is and what will be. Each number, each redshift, is a note in the universe's quiet song, and as you listen to that song, you feel its rhythm settling into you. Expansion is not a threat. It is simply the way the universe breathes. The chapter closes with a thought. If we can measure this faint drift, then perhaps we can begin to ask what drives it. If the galaxies move apart, what force carries them? What invisible hand stretches space itself? This question lingers, soft yet profound. The answer lies in something unseen, something we will come to know as dark energy. But for now, you rest. With the knowledge of motion, the quiet certainty that space expands, that galaxies drift, and that you, too, are carried gently on the faint tide of the universe. You sit with the image of galaxies drifting apart, lanterns receding on a cosmic sea. The question lingers softly in your mind. What carries them? There is no wind in space, no current of air that blows galaxies away. There are no invisible hands, no giant tides rushing through the cosmos. Instead, the expansion comes from something stranger, something more elusive. It is not a force you can touch or feel. It is not gravity, not magnetism, not anything you know from daily life. It is something hidden, yet everywhere. Astronomers call it dark energy. The name itself feels mysterious, like a shadow at the edge of understanding. But it is not darkness in the sense of night, nor energy in the way you feel warmth or motion. It is emptiness itself. It stretches, emptiness that stretches, emptiness that breathes. You might imagine energy as something with weight, with push, with presence. But dark energy is different. It is a force without weight, a quiet pressure that fills every corner of space, pressing outward on the fabric of reality itself. Pause and imagine a soap bubble. Its surface stretches outward, thin and delicate, as though something inside is gently pressing. But in the case of the universe, there is no inside and outside, there is only space itself, swelling like a bubble, expanding in every direction. Dark energy is the quiet breath that keeps it growing. What is most curious is that this energy is not localized. It does not sit in one place, like a star or a planet. It is everywhere, evenly spread, filling every gap, every silence between galaxies. No matter where you drift, no matter how far you travel, the same invisible pressure surrounds you. You cannot step outside of it. You cannot escape it. This is why it is so hard to see. Dark energy does not shine, does not absorb, does not leave fingerprints on light in the way matter does. It reveals itself only through expansion. It whispers its existence through the drifting apart of galaxies, Through the acceleration of the universe's breath, you lean into this thought, a force without weight, a pressure without touch, a presence without form. Some scientists compare it to the energy of the vacuum, itself the restless hum of space at its smallest scale. Even when you imagine nothingness, when you picture the void stripped of stars and particles, there is still something. Quantum physics tells us that even the emptiest vacuum trembles with activity, with fleeting particles that appear and vanish. Perhaps in that trembling there lies the quiet strength of dark energy, or perhaps it is something deeper still, something woven into the geometry of reality itself. A property of space that simply is not created, not destroyed, only present. You breathe in slowly. You feel the air fill your lungs, gentle pressure expanding within you. You breathe out. The space inside you stretches, relaxes, settles. And in that rhythm, you sense the reflection, your breath and the universe's breath, both expanding without effort, both carried by forces unseen. There is a paradox hidden here. Normally, energy pulls things together. Gravity, the energy of mass, draws planets into stars, stars into galaxies, galaxies into clusters. But dark energy does the opposite. It pushes apart. It is an energy of separation, not union. A soft repulsion, spreading the cosmos thinner, wider, quieter with every passing moment. You imagine two boats resting on still water. Between them, no current flows, yet slowly, mysteriously, they drift apart. The water itself is not moving, but somehow the distance grows. That is the feeling of dark energy, an invisible widening, a quiet expansion that comes from nowhere and touches everything. This force, without weight, is patient. It does not rush. It has been working for billions of years, unnoticed until recently, shaping the destiny of the cosmos with the gentlest of touches. And though we cannot see it, we know it is vast. Nearly 70% of the universe is made of dark energy, more than stars, more than galaxies, more than all the visible matter combined. Most of reality is woven from something we do not yet understand. There is humility in this realization. You sit beneath the night sky, feeling small, and yet part of something so much larger. The stars you see are only a fraction of what is. The rest is hidden, invisible, yet present in every breath of expansion. Dark energy is not violent. It does not tear. It does not roar. It simply stretches, softly, steadily, relentlessly. You picture the fabric of space as a great, endless sheet. Galaxies rest upon it like beads of dew. Slowly, the sheet stretches, carrying each droplet away from the others. None can resist, for the fabric itself is what moves. And you are on that sheet too, a small droplet carried outward with everything else. A force without weight, a breath without lungs, a presence without form. The more you think of it, the more it feels like silence itself. A silence that expands, filling the spaces between stars, filling the spaces between your thoughts. A silence that is not empty but alive, gentle, insistent. This silence is what gives the universe its shape. Without it, perhaps galaxies would still drift apart, but slowly, haltingly, slowing under gravity's hand. Instead, they accelerate, moving faster with time, as though urged on by an invisible companion. And so the mystery deepens. What is dark energy? A vacuum's whisper, a property of space itself, or something we cannot yet name. Scientists do not know. The truth is still hidden, still waiting, but the evidence is clear. It is there. It is real. It is the invisible breath of space, shaping everything. You close your eyes and rest in this mystery. You do not need to solve it. You only need to feel its presence, the slow widening of galaxies, the patient stretching of space, the silent exhale of the cosmos. As the chapter comes to a close, a new question arises, gentle but profound. If this force without weight is everywhere, what does it mean for the future of the universe? Will the expansion continue forever, thinning the stars into endless isolation? Or is there another chapter yet to unfold? The thought lingers, like the last note of a quiet song. You rest with it, carried softly by the unseen breath of space. The universe does not simply expand, it accelerates. This is perhaps the strangest truth of all. You might expect that gravity, the pull of all things toward one another, would gradually slow expansion. Like a stone tossed into the air, rising but eventually falling, the universe should resist its own widening. Matter pulls on matter. Galaxies pull on galaxies. Surely, this pull should act like an anchor, restraining the outward drift. But when astronomers looked closely, they saw something startling. The opposite was true. The galaxies were not just receding. They were receding faster and faster, as though carried on a tide that grew stronger with time. The expansion of space was not slowing under gravity's hand. It was quickening, racing ahead, unstoppable. Pause here. Let the thought ripple through you like a quiet wave. The universe, vast and ancient, is not winding down, but rushing outward with increasing speed. This revelation came in the late 1990s, when teams of astronomers studied distant supernovae explosions of dying stars that shine like beacons across space. These stellar flares serve as cosmic By measuring their brightness, astronomers could calculate their distances. By studying their redshift, they could measure how fast their galaxies moved away. When the two were compared, the story emerged with clarity. The expansion was accelerating. It was a moment of awe and bewilderment. A discovery that reshaped cosmology. A truth that forced open doors of mystery. You imagine yourself drifting in a boat upon a calm sea. At first, the other boats move slowly away, the tide gentle, predictable. But then, almost without warning, the current strengthens. The boats speed up, rushing outward faster than before. You cannot see the hand that stirs the waters, only the evidence of motion itself. That unseen hand is dark energy, quickening the expansion, pulling galaxies apart faster with each passing billion years. The accelerating universe changes everything. It tells us that the cosmos is not bound to collapse back on itself, as once imagined. For many years, scientists debated whether gravity would eventually overcome expansion, pulling galaxies back together, ending in a big crunch. But acceleration paints a different fate. Expansion will not end. It will continue, and not only continue, it will speed up. The thought carries both wonder and melancholy. Imagine galaxies drifting so far apart that their light can no longer reach one another. Imagine a sky in which only the stars of your own galaxy remain, all others lost beyond an ever-widening horizon. The universe would grow quieter, lonelier, a vast darkness dotted only by local lights. This is the far future, perhaps billions of years ahead. Yet it begins now, in the quiet acceleration you cannot see, but scientists can measure. Acceleration reshapes time itself. For when space stretches faster, the journey of light across it changes. Photons traveling from distant galaxies may never reach us, caught in the swelling tide of space. The visible universe shrinks in possibility, even as it grows in size. What you can know becomes less, even while reality becomes more. You breathe in slowly. You imagine the expansion as a rhythm: inhale, exhale, inhale again. But with dark energy, the rhythm is not steady. Each breath grows deeper, wider, faster, as though the universe itself is learning to breathe more strongly with time. You are carried within that widening lung, a passenger in an expanding chest of stars. Astronomers quantify this acceleration with equations, with models, with constants that attempt to capture its strength. But for you, in this moment, it is enough to imagine the feeling of drift, enough to picture lanterns rushing outward, carried by a tide you cannot resist. It is humbling to know that you live in such a universe, a cosmos not fixed, not slowing, but speeding outward as though compelled by some hidden urgency. And yet, in its speed, there is still calm. The galaxies do not tear, they glide. The stars do not scatter violently, they drift. The acceleration is real, but it is quiet, steady, patient. You are safe within it. Expansion does not tear atoms apart, does not stretch your body, does not disrupt the bonds of Earth. It works only on the grandest scales, across billions of light years, across the vastness between galaxies. In your small corner of the cosmos, gravity still rules, binding Earth to Sun, Sun to Milky Way. It is only in the wide, intergalactic spaces that dark energy's breath reveals its strength. You picture it now, the Milky Way drifting, the Andromeda Galaxy drifting, clusters and superclusters gliding away. The farther they are, the faster they go, like dancers on an ever-widening stage. You are both participant and witness, carried with them. Part of their story, the accelerating universe brings with it a sense of mystery, but also peace. It is not an ending you must fear, but a rhythm you can rest within. The cosmos expands, and you expand with it. As you drift deeper into this thought, one question emerges, soft and profound. Why? Why does dark energy accelerate the universe? Why does emptiness push outward? Why does the breath of space grow stronger with time? These questions remain unanswered, lingering like stars half seen through mist. But they invite you onward into deeper chapters of mystery, where possibility itself seems to shimmer. You rest with the image, galaxies gliding faster, space stretching wider, the universe accelerating in silence. You breathe out, and in your breath you mirror that acceleration, slow and steady, deepening with time. The story of dark energy is far from finished. Ahead lies the search for its nature, its essence, its secret. Ahead lies the question of what it means to live in a cosmos that will never stop expanding, and so, you drift now at the edge of this chapter, held in the quiet truth. The universe is not only growing, it is quickening. You are part of an accelerating breath, carried always forward, always outward, into the widening night. The night sky feels endless to you. Stars shimmer like jewels, galaxies glow like distant lanterns, and the darkness between them seems to stretch without limit. Yet even in this vastness, there are boundaries, soft, invisible, but real. Boundaries beyond which you cannot see, cannot know, cannot reach. This boundary is called the cosmic horizon. Imagine standing on the shore of a great ocean. The water stretches to the horizon, where sea and sky blend into one. You know the ocean continues beyond what your eyes can hold, but distance and curvature hide it from view. The universe is the same. You see far, but not forever. Beyond a certain distance, light can never arrive. No matter how long you wait, this horizon is not made of walls, nor of barriers. It is woven from time itself, from the way light travels across an expanding cosmos. Consider this: light is fast. It races across space at the ultimate speed limit, 300,000 kilometers every second. Yet even light cannot escape the stretching of space. As the universe expands, the distance it must cross grows longer, like a runner on a track that lengthens with each stride. Some galaxies drift away so quickly, carried by expansion, that their light will never reach us. They fall beyond our horizon, slipping out of touch. You close your eyes and picture lanterns floating on a dark river. Some drift close enough that their glow reaches you, warm and steady. Others drift farther, their light dimming, fading, until finally they vanish into distance. They are not gone, they still float, but their light can no longer touch you. The horizon has claimed them. This is the quiet truth. The universe is larger than you can ever see, larger than light can ever reveal. There are galaxies, countless and bright, that exist forever beyond your knowing. Their stars shine, their worlds spin, their stories unfold, but for you, they remain hidden. This horizon is not fixed. It changes as the universe expands. In the past, more of the cosmos was visible. Light had less distance to cross. But as space accelerates outward, more galaxies slip away, carried beyond reach. The visible universe shrinks in what it can reveal, even as the real universe grows immeasurable. It is a paradox. The more the universe expands, the less you can see. Pause here. Let that thought rest within you like a gentle tide. The horizon is not a prison, it is a reminder. A reminder that not everything can be known, not everything can be touched. There will always be mysteries beyond your grasp, always distances to great, always lights to faint. But there is beauty in that mystery. To know that the universe extends beyond your horizon is to know you are part of something infinite. You are not at the center, not at the edge, but within a vastness that exceeds imagination. The horizon humbles you and comforts you, too. Scientists map this horizon with equations and telescopes. They measure how far light has traveled since the beginning, how much expansion has stretched its path. They calculate distances where galaxies vanish from visibility, horizons of knowing that shift with time. Numbers give precision, but the feeling remains. A soft boundary, a fading edge, a veil drawn across the farthest reaches of reality. You might imagine this horizon as a curtain of mist. Behind it, galaxies continue their dance, unseen. Their light streams outward, but the expansion carries them faster still, until no photon can bridge the gap. It is as though the stage continues beyond the curtain, but only faint echoes reach your ears. The play is larger than what you see. There is a certain tenderness in this truth. You do not need to hold all of it. You do not need to see every star, every galaxy, every horizon. It is enough to know that they are there, beyond reach, still shining, still real, and yet the thought lingers: what lies beyond that horizon? What shapes? What stories? What structures of galaxies weave the unseen cosmos? The question cannot be answered, but it can be felt. And in that feeling, wonder blooms. Horizons are not only cosmic. You know them in your own life too. Places you cannot go, mysteries you cannot solve, futures you cannot see. And yet, just as in the universe, those horizons do not end the story. They remind you that beyond your vision, beyond your reach, something continues. Always, you rest in this rhythm. You are here, within your horizon. You are carried by galaxies that still shine to you, still share their light across billions of years. But you also carry the quiet knowing that the cosmos is wider, deeper, grander than your sight can hold. This chapter ends as gently as it began, with a gaze into distance. You sit at the shore of the universe, watching lanterns slip beyond the horizon. Their glow fades, their presence remains. The horizon is not an end, but a soft veil. Beyond it, the universe continues to breathe. And as you linger here, another thought arises, subtle but profound. If horizons mark what we cannot see, what of the future? What will the accelerating expansion make of our universe billions of years from now? The horizon is not only distance, it is destiny. The question floats with you, quiet as starlight, carrying you softly toward the chapters ahead. Time feels steady to you. The clock ticks, the seasons turn, the rhythm of your breath repeats. Yet time is not as fixed as it seems. It bends, it stretches. It slows in places where gravity deepens, as though caught in a tide. This bending of time is one of the strangest truths of the cosmos, and nowhere is it stronger than at the edge of black holes. Imagine standing on a cliff, looking down at a valley where fog drifts slowly. From above, the fog seems still, suspended, barely moving. But step into the valley, and you find yourself moving normally, unaware of the slowness others see. This is how time behaves in the presence of immense gravity. From a distance, it slows, stretches, lingers. For those within it, time feels normal. But to outside eyes, it drags at the edge of a black hole, what scientists call the event horizon. This effect becomes extreme. Time stretches to infinity. From afar, an object falling into a black hole seems to slow, slower still, until it freezes at the horizon, never fully crossing. To the falling object, however, time flows normally. It passes the horizon without pause. Two perspectives, both true, both shaped by the bending of time. Pause here. Breathe slowly. Feel the seconds of your own life stretch gently, like soft fabric pulled between hands. This is the rhythm of time dilation, the slowing of moments in gravity's grip. The mathematics of Einstein's relativity reveal this truth. Time and space are not separate, but woven together, forming a fabric called space-time. Gravity does not simply pull, it curves space-time, reshaping the flow of both distance and duration. Near massive objects, this curvature is deep, and time itself slows. On Earth, you live within this effect, though faintly. Clocks closer to the surface, where gravity is stronger, tick more slowly than clocks farther away. Satellites high above Earth experience time moving slightly faster. So precise are modern instruments that these differences can be measured, corrected for, woven into the systems that guide navigation and communication. Even your daily life relies on the bending of time, yet near black holes, the effect is magnified beyond imagination. To watch something fall toward such an edge is to witness time itself stretched thin. Seconds become hours, hours become years, as if the universe itself hesitates, holding the moment forever. You might picture this edge as a great cosmic waterfall. From above, you watch a leaf drifting toward the brink. As it nears, its movement slows, until it seems suspended, trembling at the edge. From the leaf's own view, however, the plunge continues. swift and unstoppable. Two truths, one from above, one from within. This is the mystery of time. It is not absolute. It bends, it yields, it dances to the curves of gravity. You rest in this thought. If time itself can stretch, then what does it mean for your moments, your memories, your breath? Are they as fixed as they feel, or are they part of a wider rhythm, a slower unfolding you cannot yet sense? At the edge of a black hole, a strange beauty arises. For though light itself cannot escape, time seems to linger there forever. To a distant observer, the edge glows faintly, a record of everything that ever approached but never quite crossed. The horizon becomes a kind of memory, a slow shimmer of all that came before. Perhaps this is why black holes feel so mysterious, so dreamlike. They are not merely objects of destruction, but places where time itself is altered, where moments linger, stretched into eternity, and here you are, imagining yourself at that edge. You stand at the brink, watching the stars behind you speed their light, while your own seconds slow. To step forward is to enter a new rhythm, a slower heartbeat of the cosmos. This slowing of time is not confined to black holes. It whispers across the universe, wherever gravity bends space-time. Near neutron stars, near dense clusters, near planets like your own, though faintly. Time is always relative, always shifting, always shaped by the masses around it. You breathe in, you breathe out, each breath a moment. And you wonder how many rhythms of time flow unseen around you. How many clocks tick at different paces, unnoticed, hidden in the quiet curves of space-time. The slowing of time at the edge invites a deeper question. What lies beyond? If you could pass the horizon, if you could cross into that place where time flows differently, what would you find? The answer is hidden, unreachable, for no message escapes the horizon to tell its tale. Yet the mystery remains, a quiet invitation. You do not need to solve it tonight. You need only rest within it, letting the thought soothe you, letting the rhythm of slowing time carry you gently. The chapter ends with a lingering image, you, standing at the edge, watching seconds stretch like threads of silk. Time slows. The horizon glows faintly, and in that stillness, a new sound begins to form, the faint trembling of space itself, a ripple waiting to be heard. That ripple will guide you into the next story, the echoes of gravitational waves. The universe is not silent. It hums, it trembles, it sings in ways you cannot hear. Long ago, Einstein imagined this music. In 1916, he proposed that gravity is not a force reaching out invisibly, but the bending of space-time itself. And if space-time bends, then surely it can ripple. Surely, when massive bodies collide or move with violence, they must send waves outward, like stones dropped into a pond. These ripples are gravitational waves, subtle shudders of space-time, spreading at the speed of light, carrying news of distant cataclysms. For a century, they remained only an idea, too faint, too small to detect. Then, in 2015, the whisper was finally heard. Two black holes had collided more than 1 billion light-years away. Their merger sent ripples through space-time, tiny distortions passing through Earth. Detectors listened, and for the first time, humanity heard the faint echo of a collision so vast it shook the fabric of reality itself. Pause here. Imagine it, black holes spiraling together, faster and faster, until they merge in a storm of unimaginable energy. From that storm, ripples spread outward, They travel through galaxies, through dust, through the spaces between stars. They travel silently, without light, without sound. They reach Earth and you. At this very moment, gravitational waves slip through your body, stretching and squeezing space-time by fractions of the width of a proton. You do not feel them, but they are there, passing always, faint as a breath. The thought is both humbling and soothing. You are part of a cosmos that moves and sings in ways too subtle for your senses, but no less real to understand gravitational waves. Think of a great sheet of fabric stretched tight. Place a heavy sphere on it, the fabric dips, curves. Add another, they roll together, spiraling inward. As they move, the fabric ripples. Waves travel outward across its surface. In the same way, stars, black holes, and neutron stars bend space-time, and their motions send ripples outward. These waves are not like light, not like sound. They are distortions of reality itself. They do not travel through space, they are the motion of space. When a gravitational wave passes, distances change imperceptibly. The gap between atoms shifts, the span of Earth's diameter trembles, then returns. A cosmic tide that rises and falls without notice. Scientists built instruments of astonishing precision to catch these whispers. LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, stretches kilometers in length, measuring the passage of ripples smaller than any other detectable motion. With mirrors, lasers, and silence, it listens to space-time itself. When the first detection came, the signal was faint but clearer chirp, rising in pitch as two black holes merged. It was not just a discovery, it was a new sense, a new way of hearing the universe. For now, only the most violent events produce waves strong enough to measure. Black holes colliding, neutron stars smashing together, dense objects spiraling into one another. But in principle, every motion produces ripples. Even you, moving your hand through the air, send faint waves into space-times, so faint they vanish into silence. Yet still they exist. The cosmos, then, is full of echoes. Every dance of matter, every merging of galaxies, every collapse of stars sends ripples outward. You are bathed in them always. The air does not quiver, but space-time itself does. Pause, breathe deeply. As you inhale, imagine those ripples passing through you, countless and soft, from events long past. With each exhale, feel yourself part of this quiet tide, this unending ocean of trembling space-time. The poetry of it lies in what these waves reveal, for they carry information not through light, but through space-time itself. They allow us to see places that no telescope can reach. Black holes do not shine, but through gravitational waves, their collisions become known. The universe opens another window. When two neutron stars collided in 2017, waves and light arrived together. Astronomers saw both the tremor of space-time and the glow of matter, a cosmic duet. In that single event, gold and heavy elements were forged, scattered across galaxies, perhaps one day to become part of a ring on a finger or the core of a planet. You wear the echoes of those collisions without even knowing. This is the intimacy of cosmic science. It is not only distant, not only abstract, it lives in you. You are built of matter, born in stars, shaped by forces that ripple space-time. The waves that pass through you now are not apart from your story, they are your story. Gravitational waves remind us that reality is dynamic, not fixed. Space is not a backdrop. Time is not a silent metronome. They move, they quiver, they carry news across billions of years. And you, listening now, drifting toward sleep, are part of that quiver. Imagine lying on a still pond at night. The water beneath you trembles with ripples from distant movements. You do not know who made them or how far away they are, but you feel the rhythm, faint and calming. This is how it is with gravitational waves. You float upon a pond of space-time, and its ripples pass beneath you, carrying distant echoes of ancient dances, and there is still more to come. Scientists dream of listening deeper, of building detectors in space that will hear lower tones waves from galaxies themselves, from the earliest moments of creation. One day, we may hear the universe's first tremor, the faint echo of the Big Bang itself. The oldest song of all, the chapter rests here in the thought of echoes. You are always surrounded by them. You are always touched by ripples from events unseen. You need not hear them, need not measure them. It is enough to know you are part of their music, a listener in silence, floating in a universe that hums softly forever. As you drift towards sleep, let that music soothe you. Let the thought of unseen ripples calm your mind. For ahead lies another wonder, the vast unseen sea of matter, heavier and darker than stars, surrounding you, always waiting in silence. You begin here, beneath the slow canopy of stars, your breath matching the rhythm of the night. The air is still, yet above you the universe moves in ways too vast to sense directly. Every point of light scattered across the sky, each star, each galaxy, is part of a greater unfolding. They are not frozen in place, not motionless jewels pinned against black velvet. They are drifting, quietly, in an expansion that never ceases. The universe grows. It has grown since the first instant of its birth. What was once so small, so dense, so unimaginably compressed, has spread outward into the immensity you now inhabit. This growth is not like an explosion, though it was once called that. It is gentler, subtler. It is space itself, widening, stretching, creating room between all things. Galaxies do not fly apart through a pre-existing emptiness. Instead, the emptiness itself expands, carrying them along. To imagine this, you might think of a balloon. Tiny dots on its surface begin close together, and as the balloon fills with air, the dots drift apart. None of the dots move on their own, yet each one grows distant from the others. This is the way of cosmic expansion. You are one of the dots, though small and quiet, carried outward as the fabric beneath you widens. This expansion was first suspected nearly a century ago, when Edwin Hubble looked at distant galaxies and saw their light stretched red, like the lowering pitch of a receding siren. That redshift was a signature. The galaxies were receding, space was lengthening between them. What Hubble glimpsed has since been confirmed countless times, through telescopes, through satellites, through delicate instruments that measured the faintest whispers of light dot. And so you rest with the truth. The universe is not static, but ever expanding. But what does this mean for tomorrow? What does this slow, steady stretch promise for the ages yet to come? Scientists have asked this too, gazing not only outward into distance, but forward into possibility. From the mathematics of gravity, from the observations of galaxies, from the faint echo of ancient radiation, they have sketched futures, not certain fates, but poems of what may be. One of those futures is endless expansion. Imagine the fabric of space growing forever, each moment pulling galaxies farther apart. Already, distant galaxies recede so swiftly that their light will never reach us. They cross the horizon of visibility, vanishing beyond forever. In an endless expansion, this trend continues. More galaxies slip away, until only those bound closely to us remain, the Milky Way, its satellite companions, and perhaps the Andromeda Galaxy, drawn near not by expansion but by gravity. Picture yourself standing beneath a sky in that far future. It is not today's sky. It is quieter, lonelier. The once crowded field of stars is thinner. The grand river of galaxies, once so rich and overflowing, has been carried beyond reach. A person alive in that age may never know the true immensity of the cosmos, for the evidence will have drifted away. Yet you know it now, and in knowing, you carry the memory of what was. This endless expansion is not violent. It is not a tearing. It is a calm unraveling, a spreading of threads until they are too far apart to weave a pattern. It is like watching the sea recede endlessly from the shore, each wave retreating further than the last. A gentle fate, yet tinged with solitude. Another future is more dramatic. The big rip in this story. Dark energy, the mysterious force behind acceleration, grows stronger with time. Its pull is not like gravity. It is not a drawing inward, but a pushing outward. If this push strengthens without limit, then expansion accelerates faster and faster. First, galaxies are torn apart from one another. Then, stars unbind from their galaxies. Later still, solar systems disintegrate, planets flung from their orbits. Even atoms, the very bonds of matter, would be stretched until they break. It is unsettling, yes, but in this telling there is a strange serenity. Imagine fabric unraveling thread by thread. Imagine the final dissolution, not as violence, but as release, a great letting go. Everything returns to separateness, each piece freed from the rest. In this view, the big rip is not destruction, but transformation, though it is an ending all the same. And yet there is the possibility of reversal. Not all cosmologists believe expansion must go on forever. If dark energy is not constant, if it weakens or changes, gravity may once again take the lead. If so, the expansion could slow, halt, and finally reverse. In this scenario, the universe would begin to contract. Galaxies would draw together, stars would collide, everything would fall inward. This is the big crunch. You might think of a great breath. Expansion is the exhale, a spreading outward. Contraction would be the inhale, a drawing back. The cosmos would fold inward on itself, heating and brightening as matter compresses. Perhaps, in that final collapse, a new beginning would be born. Another big bang, another cycle of creation. This is speculation, yes, but a speculation that carries comfort. It is the idea of renewal, of endings feeding into beginnings. And then there is the heat death, the big freeze. This is perhaps the softest ending of all. In this story, expansion continues endlessly, but at a steady pace. Galaxies grow more distant, stars burn their fuel, and slowly the universe cools. It does not collapse, it does not rip. It simply fades. The energy spreads too thin for stars to ignite. The night grows darker, colder, until nothing stirs. You picture a candle burning in a large room. Its light fills the space, but as the room grows larger, the light stretches thinner, dimmer, until the flame dies. The big freeze is the cosmos falling asleep, a gradual dimming into quiet stillness. These are the futures: eternal expansion, big rip, big crunch, big freeze. 4 songs sung by the same universe, each a different verse, each a different ending. Which is true? Which will come to pass? You cannot yet know. No one can. The evidence is still gathered, the equations still tested, the mysteries still unfolding. But in wondering, in imagining, you participate in the story. Astronomers measure expansion by watching distant supernova. These are explosions of dying stars, bright enough to be seen across galaxies. They act as markers, standard candles in the dark. By observing how their light stretches as it travels, scientists can measure the rate of expansion. It was through such studies that dark energy was first revealed. When researchers noticed the universe was not merely expanding, but accelerating, think of that light born billions of years ago, traveling across the void, carrying with it the message of the universe's future. A flicker in a distant galaxy becomes a letter written in the language of physics. When it reaches Earth, when it is captured in the lens of a telescope, it tells of expansion, of acceleration, of possible fates. And what is dark energy, the driver of this expansion? No one yet knows. It is a name given to an unknown, a placeholder for a force unmeasured, a property ungrasped. It is invisible, but its effect is written on the stars. Perhaps it is energy inherent to space itself, a cosmological constant, as Einstein once suggested. Perhaps it changes with time, waxing and waning like a tide. Perhaps it is not energy at all, but a flaw in our understanding of gravity. The mystery remains, and yet the mystery comforts. For to not know is also to imagine. An imagination in the quiet hours is a balm, so you let these futures drift through you. You picture the lonely vastness of eternal expansion. You picture the dramatic unraveling of the Big Rip. You picture the fiery reunion of the Big Crunch. You picture the gentle dimming of the Big Freeze. You do not cling to any one vision. You let them pass like clouds across the moon, each beautiful in its way. And you realize that whichever future comes, it will not diminish the present. You are here now, breathing, existing within the expansion. You are alive in the middle of the story, not at its end. Your atoms are part of this great unfolding. Your life is a verse in the poem of the universe. There is comfort in this, comfort in knowing that the universe moves, and that you move with it. Comfort in the mystery, in the unanswered questions. Comfort in the rhythm, expansion outward, breath inward, the pulse of time itself. As you rest, you sense the continuity. The future is written in expansion, yes, but so too is the past. The universe carries memories within it, records etched in light and radiation. Echoes remain of the first moments, still present, still singing softly across the sky. And it is to those echoes that you now turn. You are lying beneath the sky, but tonight you listen rather than look. It seems silent, yet silence is never complete. If you could tune your ears, if you could open your senses to the deeper fabric of the cosmos, you would hear a faint murmur that has never ceased since the dawn of time. It is not a sound in air, not a voice carried by vibration. It is light stretched thin, cooled by billions of years, a glow that fills every direction equally. This is the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, the echo of the universe's first light. Close your eyes and imagine the beginning, not of your life, not of your world, but of everything. At first, the cosmos was dense and hot, so hot that atoms could not form, so hot that light itself was trapped. Photons collided endlessly with charged particles, bouncing, scattering, unable to travel far. It was a fog, thick with brightness, but without clarity. Then, as the universe expanded, it cooled. Atoms formed hydrogen, helium, and suddenly the fog cleared. For the first time, light could travel freely. That moment, nearly 380,000 years after the beginning, released a flood of photons that have been moving ever since. You are bathed in them even now, though your eyes cannot see them. They have stretched with expansion, cooled to the temperature of just 2.7 degrees above absolute zero, whispering at wavelengths invisible to you, but not to sensitive instruments. Think of it, every direction you turn, every corner of the sky holds the same faint glow. It is not bound to stars or galaxies. It is not a local light. It is universal, a background that surrounds you. When you watch static on an old television set, a tiny fraction of that static is this ancient echo, still arriving, still singing. The discovery of the cosmic background was almost accidental. In 1965, two scientists, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson, were testing a radio antenna in New Jersey. They were not looking for echoes of the Big Bang. They were trying to measure faint signals from satellites. But no matter what they did, a persistent noise remained steady, uniform, present in every direction. At first they thought it was interference. They even suspected pigeons nesting in the antenna. But after cleaning, adjusting, recalibrating, the hum persisted. It was everywhere, all the time. They had stumbled upon the afterglow of creation. What had been predicted by theory was now measured in fact. The universe itself was humming with memory. You let this sink in. Imagine standing in that moment, when the universe's childhood was first heard by human ears. The static was not mere noise, it was a message, a reminder, a confirmation that the cosmos began in fire and expansion. From that point on, the Big Bang was no longer speculation. It was written across the sky, in every direction, waiting for anyone who cared to listen. But the cosmic background is not uniform in every way. If you look closely, with delicate instruments, you see tiny variations, faint ripples, differences in temperature of only a few millionths of a degree. These are the seeds of structure, the first hints of galaxies. Imagine a smooth pond with the tiniest ripples crossing its surface. Those ripples are the unevenness, the tiny fluctuations that gravity later amplified, drawing matter together, forming stars, galaxies, clusters, the web of the universe we know today. Without those ripples, without that unevenness, everything might have remained smooth and empty. There would be no galaxies, no stars, no Earth, no you. The very fact that you exist depends on those delicate variations imprinted in the background glow. They are the fingerprints of the cosmos's birth. You linger here, letting this thought cradle you. The light around you, invisible but present, carries the story not only of beginnings, but of your existence. You are woven into it. The atoms in your body were shaped by stars, but the stars themselves were shaped by the ripples in that ancient glow dot in later years. Satellites have studied this background in exquisite detail. The Cosmic Background Explorer COBE, the Wilkinson Microwave Anisotropy Probe, WMAP, and the Planck satellite each refined the picture. They mapped the sky, pixel by pixel, charting the faint mottling of temperature differences. From those maps, scientists learned the age of the universe, 13.8 billion years. They measured its composition, mostly dark energy, then dark matter, with ordinary matter as only a small fraction. They saw, in essence, the blueprint of everything that followed. You imagine holding such a map, the sky colored in patches of blue and red, showing tiny temperature variations. To the untrained eye, it looks like nothing but noise, but to those who listen deeply, it is a cosmic score, a piece of music written at the dawn of time, whose notes played out as galaxies, stars, and planets. Think of it this way: when you hear an echo in a canyon, you know a sound came before. The echo tells you something of the shape of the canyon, the timing of the call. The cosmic microwave background is like that, but on the grandest scale. It is the echo of the first light, and from its faint murmur we learn the shape, the age, the fate of the entire universe. Pause for a moment. Imagine yourself wrapped in this background. Though invisible, it surrounds you like a blanket. Every direction you turn, the glow is there, faint but unwavering. You are never outside it, never apart from it. It is the atmosphere of the cosmos itself, the soft residue of its birth. And though the light is old, unimaginably old, it still reaches you freshly. Every photon that touches you tonight has traveled billions of years, uninterrupted, across the expanding void. Each one is a messenger from the past, a survivor of time, carrying with it the memory of a universe once young, once blazing with energy. Let yourself feel the intimacy of that. To touch the background is to touch the oldest memory possible. You are in contact with the beginning simply by existing here and now. There is poetry in the numbers, too. The background temperature of 2.7 Kelvin, just above absolute zero, is cold beyond your daily imagination. Yet it is the warmth of an origin stretched thin by time. The faint variations of 1 part in 100,000 contain all the story of cosmic structure. From such subtleties, everything grew. You may wonder, will this background last forever? As expansion continues, the light stretches further, the temperature drops lower. Already it is microwaves, beyond the reach of your eyes. In the distant future, it will cool further, becoming radio waves, then longer still, until it fades into darkness. The echo will not vanish, but it will grow so faint, so stretched, that no observer could detect it. So there is a tenderness in this moment. You live in an era when the background is still measurable, still audible to our instruments. In ages to come, far beyond your life, even beyond humanity's existence, the universe's first light will grow silent, but you, here and now, can hear it. You can cradle it in thought, and so the background is not just science, but solace. It reminds you that even in silence, memory persists. The universe remembers its birth. It carries that memory everywhere, invisibly, like a soft hum beneath all things. You breathe with it, slowly, rhythmically. You imagine yourself dissolving into that glow, becoming part of it, as indeed you are. Your atoms formed long after that first light, but they are children of the same expansion, the same unfolding. You belong to the background, to the echo, to the story it tells. The chapter closes not with answers, but with wonder. For what is an echo but a bridge between past and present? And what is the cosmic background but the universe, whispering across billions of years? I was here, I began, and I still endure. You lie still, listening. The echo fades not in strength, but in awareness, as you drift toward sleep. Yet even as you do, another question forms. If there is a breath behind beginnings, is there also a breath behind all things? A rhythm that connects the universe to you more directly than you realize. The whisper carries you there, softly, into what comes next. You lie very still now, letting the weight of night cradle you. The journey through futures and echoes has softened you, layer by layer, until you are no longer watching the universe from the outside, but feeling it within. You are not apart from the cosmos. You are immersed in it, carried by it, breathing with it. Every rise of your chest is a tide. Every fall is a release. The universe too has its tides, expansion outward, unfolding ever further. In this rhythm, you begin to sense not only the science, but the intimacy, the breath behind all things. Think back to the expansion you have already seen. Galaxies carried apart, stars drifting, distances widening. It is easy to imagine this as something far away, beyond your reach. But pause. Feel your breath. Feel the oxygen filling your lungs. That oxygen was forged in the heart of stars, carried outward through supernova winds, drifting across space before becoming part of your world, your body, your inhale. You do not simply watch the expansion. You participate in it. Dark energy, that invisible breath of space, is the most mysterious player in this story. It is unseen, undetectable by your eyes or skin, but its effect is undeniable. Galaxies accelerate apart because of it. The fabric of space carries its mark. Perhaps it is the energy of space itself. Perhaps it is something stranger, something yet unnamed. Whatever it is, it whispers through every corner of the cosmos. You may think of it like air, invisible, usually unnoticed, yet essential. Without it, space would not accelerate. Without it, the future would be different. You do not hear it directly, but you feel its consequences in the great unfolding. And perhaps, in a more intimate way, you echo it too. Your breath is invisible, yet it sustains you. You hardly notice it most of the time, yet it is constant. Just so, dark energy sustains the rhythm of the universe, unnoticed by most, constant in its influence. The breath of your lungs, the breath of the cosmos, two layers of the same pattern. The scientists who study dark energy are like listeners attuning themselves to silence. They measure not the thing itself, but the way it shapes what is around it. They map galaxies, measure distances, trace the faint background light, all to detect the invisible breath beneath. Like monks listening for the pause between bells, they lean into the quiet, into the subtle, and what they find is astonishing. Nearly 70% of the universe is made of this unseen breath. The stars, the planets, the dust, the matter you touch, all of it is only a fraction. Pause and let that rest within you. What you see in the sky, the brilliance of stars, is not the majority. It is the smallest slice. The greater portion is invisible, untouchable, yet real. Life is like this too. What you notice on the surface is only part of the whole. Beneath, within, beyond, there is more. Always more. You inhale again. Feel the air entering you, filling you. You exhale. Feel the release, the letting go. Each cycle carries you, sustains you. Now imagine that same cycle magnified to the cosmic scale. The inhale is gravity, drawing matter together, shaping stars and planets. The exhale is dark energy, carrying galaxies apart, stretching the fabric wider. Both forces are needed. Without gravity, there would be no stars, no worlds, no you. Without dark energy, there would be no acceleration, no unfolding, no future written in expansion. It is balance, the push and the pull, the inhale and the exhale. You are made of both. Consider this, the atoms in your body are mostly empty space. Protons, neutrons and electrons, tiny compared to the gulf between them. And what fills that gulf? Nothingness, you might say. But nothingness too has its texture, its breath. Quantum fields ripple there, virtual particles flicker in and out. Even emptiness hums with potential. What seems like void is alive with possibility. This is the breath behind all things, not only in stars and galaxies, but in the very fabric of what appears empty. The space between your atoms hums with it. The pause between your breaths carries it. You might imagine yourself dissolving, not into nothing, but into everything. Your edges blur. Your body is not fixed. It exchanges atoms with the air, water, food. What you inhale was once exhaled by trees, by oceans, by stars. What you exhale will join the atmosphere, the soil, the cycle. You are porous, open, continuous with the whole dot. So too is the universe porous, exchanging energy between seen and unseen, between matter and space, between gravity and expansion. Nothing is isolated. Everything breathes into everything else. The ancients, long before telescopes, sensed some of this. They spoke of a vital force, a breath of life that moved through all things. They named it spirit, pneuma, prana, ki. Science has not confirmed such terms, but it has revealed an echo of their intuition. There is indeed a breath, not mystical, but physical, that expands the cosmos, unseen but real. The invisible shapes the visible. The breath behind all things is not poetry alone, but physics. And yet, the poetry is also true. You cannot feel dark energy with your hands, but you can feel the awe it awakens. You cannot touch the expansion, but you can touch your own breath, which mirrors it. The personal and the cosmic overlap here, in rhythm, in pulse. You linger on the question, what does it mean to belong to such a universe? Perhaps it means that you are never separate, never truly alone. You are a breath within a greater breath, a ripple within a wider sea. Your life, brief as it may seem, is part of the long unfolding, the long exhalation of the cosmos in the far future. As expansion continues, as galaxies drift beyond sight, as stars burn out, this breath will remain. The universe will still carry its invisible pulse, whether towards stillness, collapse, or endless stretch. You will not be there to see it, but you are here now, within it, carried by it. That is enough. Consider again your own breathing. You do not know when it will end, when the final exhale will come, and yet you do not live in fear of it. You live within the cycle, trusting each inhale, each release. So too with the universe. You do not know its final fate. You do not need to. It is enough to breathe with it now, to rest in the rhythm, to let its mystery soothe you. The breath behind all things is not a riddle to solve, but a lullaby to rest within. You may picture it now as a great ocean tide. The galaxies are like ships upon its surface, carried outward on currents they do not control. You too are a ship, though smaller, though quieter. You are carried by the same tide, the same expansion. To resist would be impossible, but why resist? To drift is to belong. Or perhaps you picture it as a great heartbeat. The pulse is not heard but felt, in the expansion, in the gravity, in the quantum fields. Each heartbeat of the cosmos sustains you. Each breath of the universe includes you, and so you rest in the knowledge. You are not a bystander in this cosmos. You are woven into its fabric. The dark energy that expands galaxies also expands the space within which you live, breathe, dream. The atoms that make you are subject to the same laws, the same rhythms. The universe breathes, and you breathe with it. You close your eyes. You imagine galaxies drifting outward, stars burning, matter forming, dissolving, reforming. You imagine the background glow, the afterlight of creation still surrounding you. You imagine the breath behind it all, unseen but ever present. And in that imagining, you feel peace. For what greater comfort is there than to belong? The science tells you of expansion, acceleration, dark energy. The poetry tells you of breath, rhythm, belonging. Together they form a single truth, that you are part of the whole, inseparable, continuous dot. So as you drift toward rest, you do not need final answers. You do not need to know whether the universe ends in fire or in silence, in rip or in freeze. You need only to breathe with it now. To trust the breath behind all things as you trust your own. One last inhale, one last release. The universe expands, and so do you, and in that expansion you fall gently into silence.